Hi everyone. This week's video was really a challenge. I will tell you, the software for this textbook is exactly the same as the problem in the book. Well, what's the benefit of that? So I have to make up my own practice problems in order for you to be able to do the problem from the textbook. So it took me a little bit of finagling this week. So I'm going to post my own practice problem in the information in Blackboard. And what I want you to do is print this out, okay? So here's the problem. It says, you are going to do the percentage of completion method. All right, so what's a percentage of completion method? It is a method that recognizes revenue on an ongoing basis. It's allowed for construction companies because construction companies, for example, if they're building a bridge, if it was the Big Dig, it was a long time, but if they're building a bridge, it could take 3 to 5 years, okay? So they're going to recognize revenue on a percentage basis as opposed to recognizing it all at the end. They will recognize it gradually. So you have to come up with a percentage to recognize. I want you to get, before we begin, that it is just an estimate. Okay, so here's the problem, which will be very similar to your textbook, okay? All right, you're gonna have two similar types of problems. So this one I'm gonna get into a lot more than some of the problems we'll ask you in your textbook. But I'm gonna cover everything that you need to know. All right, this week anyways. So ABC Corporation used the percentage of completion method for construction contracts. Using the information below, you're going to use this information. It will be given to you. All right, so let me go over to the board. Here's what I want you to jot down first. Okay, so jot all these down. So kind of pause the video. Okay, you paused it. Now you're back. You have this. Construction costs incurred to date, estimated cost to complete, total estimated costs, percent complete, revenue to date, revenue recognized for the year, and construction costs expense for the year. Okay. Here's what I just realized, all right, that I didn't make enough room. All right, so construction costs incurred to date. I'm going to try to deal with this. I'm going to change a little bit so I can get some more room. Okay, all right, so for this problem, the construction costs incurred to date were $114,000. I'm going to try to make room so I don't have to reshoot this. All right. Then the next thing is estimated cost to complete the contract. You're going to get that right from the problem. You just input that number, 452. Next, you total those two. So the total estimated cost for this problem are $566,000. Okay? All right, now, to get the percent to complete, watch. You are going to take the construction and costs incurred to date, which is 114, and you will divide that by the total estimated cost, which is 566,000. Divide it out. That will be I like decimals. The publisher might make you make it a percent, so let me show you as a percent. It would 0.20. That would convert to 20%. Okay, next thing. You will have the revenue to date. All right, so here's how you're going to get that. You are going to take the total contract price, which is $2 million, and you will multiply it by the percentage that you figured. Okay, so 2 million times 20%, and that will be 400,000. Okay, so for the first year, revenue to date is 400,000. Well, revenue recognized for the year is exactly that number. Okay, next week I'll show you a video where it's more than 1 year. This week we're just covering 1 year. All right, so you don't have to subtract anything you already recognized because it's the first year. All right, I'm going to kind of erase this. Construction costs, this is the expense for the year. All right, and I just get that from the problem. That is, it just says construction costs incurred during the year. That is 114,000. Okay, we're going to subtract that. Kind of just think of a mini income statement right here, these two numbers, and this will be gross profit recognized. You subtract it, 400 minus 114, and that gives you $286,000. Okay? All right, now I'm going to show you how you'll do the journal entries, only for 1 year. Okay, so I'm always going to pick the problems where it only asks you to do journal entries for the 1 year. All right, so we're going to work right from this problem, and we're going to go over how to do the first one. All right, we're going to record the construction costs incurred. All right, so what do you call it? You're going to call it construction in progress. Erase this. This is what happens when you do videos. It's not always perfect. But you know I'm not always perfect in class either, right? All right, so debit, credit. Okay, so construction in progress. We're going to put 114,000. So when you work in the software, you call it construction in progress. And then you're going to credit accounts payable, or it could be raw materials or something like that. But the bottom line is I will allow credit accounts payable. So find that when you do the drop down with the software. All right, and then that's 114. All right, before I forget, here's this new account, construction in progress. I'm going to tell you that's an asset account. All right, so write that in your notes. That's an asset account. Okay, now let's go to the next one. We're going to record partial billings. I'm going to tell you this is just like accounting 1, all right? So the partial billings account will be a contra account. You'll see the way that works when we do the balance sheet. All right, so partial billings, you're just going to debit accounts receivable. And everybody knows accounts receivable is an asset. Partial billings will be a contra account to that. All right, so then we got debit accounts receivable, and we're crediting that for 118,000. And then we're going to credit partial billings. $118. I'm going to show you what we'll do with these at the end. One of the problems is going to make you do a partial balance sheet. All right, now, next one. We're going to make a journal entry to record collections. Well, think about accounting 1. Collections from customers. Now you're recording that. You're going to debit cash for 14,000, and you're going to credit accounts receivable for 14,000. Okay? All right, we're almost ready. We're going to do the last journal entry. All right, here's the last journal entry. Okay, so now we're going to recognize part of our income statement. All right, so we are going to look over here, all right, and we're going to debit our construction expenses. Debit construction expenses. Trying to fit this all on one tiny whiteboard, everybody. All right, so debit construction expenses, and I look, what were the construction expenses? Those were $114,000. Okay, so that's right there. Next, I'm going to debit my construction in progress. Debit construction in progress, and I look over here, debit construction in progress, that's going to be my gross profit, $286,000. Okay, then I'm going to credit revenue, just regular revenue. Look over here, what was my revenue to date? That is my $400,000. Make sure this entry balances though. Make sure you add these two and that equals that. All right, so that's your journal entries that you will do for the percentage of completion method. One of the problems is also going to ask you to complete a partial income statement and a partial balance sheet, okay? All right, so let me grab that. All right, let's erase all this. Y'all have that, right? Well, here's the good thing about video, you can rewind it. All right, so, but anyway, so I'm going to erase that. Okay, so now one of the problems is going to ask you to do a partial income statement. So you got ABC Corp, partial income statement for the year ended what is this date? They don't even say. Year ended 2000XX. Whatever. Okay. So, but look at that in the problem for the software. Make sure you use the proper date for the year ended, whatever they're saying that date is. Okay, so next you're going to do construction revenue. Okay, so construction revenue for this problem, you already did it. It was $400,000. Okay, we did that in the very beginning. That's when we did that chart. Next, you're going to do construction expense, again, from your chart that you already figured, 114. Okay, you subtract it, and that gives you your gross profit. So that's the partial income statement. Okay, I wrote too big. Great. All right, now, next one, it's going to ask ABC for a partial balance sheet. Okay, and that is whatever the date is. So if it's December 31st, 2000XX. Remember, dates for balance sheet, it's at that point in time. Okay, so you would have current assets. All right, and next you'd have accounts receivable. All right, there's two ways you can do this. double check your entries, make sure you did those right, and add up your accounts receivables. But you can also see it right on this chart here. To get the proper amount, you would take partial billings to customers, which is 118, and then subtract 14,000, and that would give you 104,000. Or you could just look at your journal entries. You've got a debit to accounts receivable, you got a credit, net those two, and you will get the same amount. All right, but accounts receivable way over here is $104,000 with this problem that I made up. All right. Next, we're going to do inventory. We're going to do construction in progress. Remember I told you that's an asset account, specifically inventory. Okay, we've got 400,000. Next, we're going to take our partial billings, so what we've billed so far, partial billings. Get that right from this chart. Partial billings is 118,000. This is a contra, all right? So you will subtract that. And then this will be costs and recognized profit not yet billed. Okay, so in that 400,000 minus 118 is 282,000. Yep, you've seen that number before. That is always going to be your gross profit. Okay, so I selected this one problem that is going to have you do all those different details. I don't have this in my answer for this week. I'm trying to see if you're watching the videos. So I'm only going to have part of the answer, but this is not in there. So you had to watch the video to get it. All right, so get in the lab, get that homework done, and you'll be good. Don't be waiting till the last minute. Some of you are doing that, not smart. See you soon.